So today, Joanna and I are going to be making cinnamon rolls. They're really easy. It's a lot of like sit around and wait time. It's just like bread. You're going to take 1 cup of lukewarm water, maybe like around 100 degrees or so. Dump it into your mixing bowl. And then this is just 5 tablespoons white sugar and 1 tablespoon instant active yeast. And then you're just going to drop all that in. And you're going to want to whisk it around. But of course I had forgotten to get my whisk before I started the video. I'm going to whisk it to make sure the sugar melts. Because if the sugar doesn't melt, the yeast won't have anything to eat. And then it won't rise correctly. And then you're just going to let that sit for about 10-15 minutes or so until the top starts to look like foam. And I will show you guys when it gets there. Okay, so basically this is what you want it to look like. It'll be foamy, but not like nasty, right? And then you're going to take 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Add it 1, 2. Goodness gracious, your nails, girl. And then you're going to want 1.5 tablespoons of salt. So there's 1. And you might want to always make sure you have your mixer stand thingy hooked up the right way. Lock it. Put it on a stir. Just kind of mix it all in. Let me readjust that for you guys. Okay. And then this is 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And you're just going to slowly add it in a little bit at a time. And you can do this with either the paddle attachment or the whisk attachment. I just like the paddle attachment because it's easier to clean. And then once that's all mixed together, you switch to your knead attachment. Or you can knead it by hand, it's up to you. That attachment, and this is the part where you might need a little bit more flour just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bowl or anything, which I'm going to need more. And there's no like correct measurement for this part, just kind of until it's like a dough that's sticky but doesn't stick to your fingers, just like the bread. That should do it. You're going to knead it for about 10 minutes or so, maybe 5. If you do it by hand, do it until your wrist hurts. Do this with her. She's so silly. I love her so much. Little baby girl. I put her down while I was trying to measure everything out, and she just ran straight to her enclosure, just ran in and went to bed. Like the silly girl she is. Okay, I guess this is how cinnamon rolls are being made now. So I'm going to need a little bit more flour because it's still kind of sticky. You're going to fall. I got her. She's rainbow. And every once in a while you might need to clean off your hook to make sure that everything gets incorporated equally. That's the hard part to do with the lizard, because it's hard to do it with one hand. You just keep on weeding. Come on, girl. That was my son. I think she's just tired of it. She wants to go home and go night-night because she's lazy. Check again. Still kind of sticky. Sticking in my fingers a little bit. So I'm just going to give it, there's a little bit of flour left in the bowl that hasn't incorporated, so I'm just going to get that to incorporate, and then it should be good. Joanna! No, go that way. Oh. She's fun. Okay, that should be good. Yeah. Let me try to do this with my lizard on my back. Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty much what it'll look like after I knead it with my KitchenAid. I always like to go through and just kind of go like this with my hands just to make sure that, you know, everything is as incorporated as it can be. Because sometimes when you just use your KitchenAid and like you add flour like you have to do, sometimes it'll like get hard if you don't incorporate it fully, and then you're gonna have like a weird little chunk of like a rock type thing, and that's never good. So you just want it incorporated, and then it'll look like this. Then you're gonna... So I had filmed the next part, and then my camera stopped recording, and I put Joanna away. But real sweet and simple. After your dough is like kneaded and stuff like that, just plop it back into the bowl. Cover it in a kitchen towel, a dish towel, normal towel, paper towels, whatever you want to do, just to make sure nothing gets into it and to keep it warm and stuff like that. I normally just throw it in the microwave because it's covered, it's warm, it works. And then you just leave it there for about an hour or so until it doubles in size. Okay, so once your dough has rested and risen, you're going to re-knead it and then cover it in flour. You will notice that I have wax paper set out on my table in my rolling area. It's because I have a wood table and this is about to get real messy, and I don't want to ruin my table. So, just gonna... Joanna needs to go home because I can't with her right now. Come on, princess. Okay, so you're just gonna roll it out until it's about a 1/4 inch thick. Now, if you have like granite countertops or something like that, or a table that, you know, isn't made out of wood, it's a lot easier because you'll notice that I'm like starting to bunch up. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and then you're just gonna roll it out until it's about a 1/4 inch thick. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then you're just, once it gets about a 1/4 inch thick, you're going to take a stick of melted butter, about 5 tablespoons of cinnamon, and about 5 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then a pastry brush. You're just going to brush it on. You want to be pretty generous because this is going to be that filling that gives it the good old cinnamon roll taste. And you'll probably have extra, that's fine. When you're rolling it, you want to make sure you roll it into an oval or... There's Joanna. When you're rolling it, you either want to roll it into an oval or a rectangle. And after you're done brushing all the stuff on, you want to roll it from the long side. So it ends up being a long log instead of a thick, small log. And you just roll it. try to keep the rolls as equal as possible. The middle part is probably going to be thicker than the outer part just because that's where all the, meat is, I guess. And then once it's rolled, you got to cut it, but I forgot it. So after it's rolled, you want to make sure you have a baking sheet. I like to cover mine in foil just so that it makes the cleanup easier. Baking sheet. And you want to cut these in about 2 inches maybe. And you want to be real careful when you're cutting it because you can rip apart the foil. These ends are kind of gross looking, but whatever. And you just stand them up just like that. And you want to space them out maybe 2 inches. They can touch while they're cooking, but if they touch too much, then they're going to stick together, which I guess isn't that big of a deal. Like, you can always just separate them. And there you go. This is 12 cinnamon rolls. There is a little bit extra. I just don't have room for it. That's one of the nasty ends. Actually, you know what? I don't like either of the ends. So there you go. 11 cinnamon. And once they're all done and your oven is preheated to 350, throw them in the oven for about 15-20 minutes until the top is golden and crusty and delicious and done. Okay, so once your cinnamon rolls are done, you're going to we're going to make the icing. This is just another stick of melted butter. This is the juice of 3 lemons. Come on, I only got a seed. That's okay. Add your lemon juice. And you're going to want to zest, maybe like 2 tablespoons. I don't have a zester, one of the small ones, so I have to use a zester on my big grater. Go. Hold yourself up. Come on. Be a good little. Zest. You want to be careful not to get any of the pith, any of the white stuff. That's really bitter and gross. Yeah, so that'll be about a tablespoon. That was 1.5 lemons. Just going to add it to the butter and lemon juice. Well, I mean, obviously, everything we add right now is going to be to the butter and lemon juice, because what else are we going to add it to? That out of the way. And then, normally you're going to want like a tablespoon of vanilla, but I only have about a half a tablespoon left. We're going to add that. And then you're going to want maybe a tablespoon of cinnamon, roughly. You can eyeball it. This part, like, it's not detrimental, you're not baking anymore, so you're not gonna destroy it or anything like that. And then you're gonna want maybe like a cup or so of confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, same thing. Now this is really good because this is gonna taste like lemonade. And in case you were curious, this recipe came straight out of the Right Reptiles cookbook, which you can actually find on our website, rightreptiles.com. The only difference, the one on the website, or the one in the cookbook, is orange glaze, whereas this is lemon. I just didn't have any oranges, but both of them taste really good. I've made these before every time I'm out of order. You're going to want to take a spoon, move these closer to you. If you are doing this on a wooden surface, make sure it's on an oven mitt, or your pan will burn the surface and completely destroy it. So once everything in the glaze is, kind of mixed together, it's going to be kind of liquidy, just like that. You're just going to spoon it over. And then once everything cools down and stuff, it'll be like a sticky glaze. Be generous once again, It's not like you're going to run out. And the more glaze, the better it tastes. as I'm sure everyone who's ever had cinnamon rolls knows. There's seed. Goes without saying, try not to put seeds on top. That probably doesn't taste. There you go. Cinnamon rolls.